Welcome to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K, and today I'm going to share with you David Robinson's latest press conference video. This happened last week Saturday. He's still searching for his missing son, Daniel Robinson. Daniel Robinson went missing on June 23rd, and the circumstances of his case are very strange. So thank you so much to the Grizzlies who've actually been out there to Arizona, boots on the ground, to help David search for his son. That is so amazing. Thank you for being there and for showing your support. If you can't be there, another way to support is to find any of my social media accounts, like my Twitter, where I've been tagging Brian Enton, because imagine if he could go out there and shine a media spotlight on this case. That's what it needs, most importantly. So the reason I'm sharing this press conference with you today is because the media turnout wasn't great. You know, the expectation was that there would be a whole bunch of media there to really capture this case and what's going on, and unfortunately it was a bit of a disappointing turnout. So I'm going to do my part in sharing this press conference with you. It's 39 minutes long, and if you could do your part, I'll put my socials up here quickly. If you could find me, especially on Twitter, Grizzly Gisela, and retweet my tweets, especially the ones where I do talk about Daniel Robinson or when I tag Brian Enton, that would be amazing. So thank you so much. Let's put this back on here. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. I just want to show you one thing before we get started, and that is just quickly my channel over here. You see, I just want to show you guys once and for all you Apple users, right? This join button is often not visible on an Apple device, on your phone, or sometimes not on the computer either. You have to use this link that's in the description box of every video in order to join the membership. And then what you do is you go here to playlists, and there's a members only playlist, so you can see it here. Can you see it? Yeah, members only videos. That's where I put all my members only videos. So there's that. And the second thing I want to show you before we get started is, of course, wait, let me just move myself. I've put David Robinson's channel over here so that you can go and subscribe to him and actually give the press conference a thumbs up and comment and just get it noticed by the algorithm, because that's what we need. We need media spotlight, media to shine a light on this case. It's a very strange case, but it represents so many, you know? So if you could do that, if you could go and subscribe to David, or at least go there and just give his video, the original video that I'm going to show you now, a thumbs up, comment on it, show him some love, that would be amazing. If you're looking for any ways to support David, please go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. It will be linked in the description box below. And then, of course, if you see here, I do have a second channel, which I know most of you don't even know about yet. Really? I've been mentioning it, but some people have emailed like, wait, what? Yes, I have a second channel called Grizzly True Crime Highlights. There's also, I've shared some of Daniel's case on there as well. And what that is, you know, on this channel, the episodes are generally half an hour, sometimes they're 3 hours. So that would be highlights. You'd get all the highlights within 5 minutes. 5 minutes and 23, 6 minutes 41. This one's a little bit long, 8 minutes 24. I always try to keep things under 5 minutes. So you can find Daniel's dad's David. His channel's also here. So yeah, I hope you'll go check that out. Okay, now let's get started. Let me show you. Let's just take that off for a second. I want to open this video. And then, okay, I'm going to take this off, and of course I have to just make sure that we fit this nicely. Is everyone in here? Wait, I'm going to do it like this. So,
intro, mind.
This right here is David Robinson. Daniel Robinson's dad. He's been on the show several times over here with the Grizzlies. I'm sure you guys know him by now, right? If not, please check out the playlist. Missing persons and unsolved cases. This case is so strange. And David's dream is to have his son home by Christmas, to take his son home for Christmas. That would be so amazing. Okay, I'm gonna just keep myself here. Is that okay? Just like here. And then we'll watch this together, okay? I've got some iced tea here, by the way. I'm gonna be drinking some sparkling iced tea.
Am I in frame?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, good morning. My name is Evan Short. That's EVANSHORT. I'm the I assist the Three Laws Recon and a family of the Robinson family for conducting the searches. I want to thank you all for coming out. This is the 16th public search that we've had. We've had the extended family of volunteers coming out, and we just wanted to thank you all for coming out here. Mr. Robinson does have some words that he'd like to share and express with everybody today. Mr. Robinson?
Good. All right, thank you, Evan. All right, before I get started, first I want to thank God, who's the author and finisher of my faith. I want to thank him for blessing me to even be here for my son, providing my life in a certain area where I can be here for him. I also want to thank the volunteers that come out here every weekend, volunteering their time. And you know, without these special people behind me, I wouldn't have a search. You know, they like I said, they were out here working tirelessly, spending their weekends with me out here in the desert, looking for a stranger. You know, somebody they don't know. Somebody they do know, you know, someone they can relate to. They are the people that have empathy for others. They came out here to search for my son, and I'm really happy and proud of them. And I really thank you guys for doing that for me and my family. My daughter here also. You know, these people here that come out here every weekend, they are mothers, they are fathers, they are sisters, they are brothers, you know. They're just like me and my family, you know what I'm saying? They saw a calling, and they saw a need from another family, and they showed up. So I'm grateful for them. And, you know, these people came out here to show all their love to me and my family. They're the ones that showed me and my family that there's a lot of people out there that's capable of love. The volunteers for the search for Daniel, I love and I appreciate each and every one of them as my own family. They are my extended family. I tell them that every time we come out here, we're just not searchers, we are a family. The staff that's here, Mr. McGrath, Jim here next to me, Evan, we all family here. And I'm really proud of what's been happening out here every Saturday. Also, I want to thank my logistics coordinator, Evan Short, and his wife. From day one after joining, you know, my search efforts, they had done everything with passion. They never missed a single search, you know. They never asked for anything. They just show their love and, you know, help me out every way they can. You know, say everything we needed here, they're here for us. Also, I wanted to thank my private investigator, Jeff McGrath, and his staff, Jim, you know, who helped me and my family find the truth of what happened to my son's what helped me finding the truth of what happened to my son, Daniel Robinson. I'm grateful for his expertise in the accident reconstruction that allowed us to finally get some information towards what happened to this vehicle, my son's vehicle, the day he went missing. His care and knowledge uncovered everything that we needed to know about how my son's vehicle ended up over that hill over here behind us into that ravine. His findings are valuable and answer some of the questions that my family and myself have. Mr. McGrath is not only just the accident reconstructionist, he's also my friend. Thank you. Mr. McGrath is the only accident reconstructionist in my son's case who thought enough, that it was worthwhile looking, physically touching my son's vehicle, physically looking at it and looking at the data, using all this expertise and knowledge that you have to find the truth. And I thank you.
You're so welcome.
Also to my attorney, Jay Calhoun, I thank you. She don't like to be on camera, but I thank her anyway. I thank you for your professionalism and your counsel. Anytime I'm feeling down, you're there. You'll give me encouraging words, and I really appreciate that. You looked out for my best interest so far, and I'm really grateful that you came along. So thank God for you. And all the long hours that you put in just to help my family, to get all the, keep us from legal harm. So I really thank you. You're like a big sister or something. So, and I want to thank all the people who helped in the searches, who donated, the ones that couldn't make it here, donated their money, signed a petition, make phone calls. I have one in particular, Penny, she's behind me, who often call and check in on me almost daily. So I'm really grateful for her. I know she's back here behind me.
Right here, buddy.
Oh, there she go. Okay, all right. I'm really thankful for her for doing that. And all the many people that's back here, I'm sure I've received so many phone calls and text messages, and they come out and they ask questions, show so much interest into my son's case. It's just overwhelming. It's just overwhelming with love, and I'm really grateful for each and every person. And also to my family, who is the backbone of this whole thing. I wouldn't be out here and I wouldn't be doing this thing without them. They gave me the strength. They're behind the scenes. A lot of times people don't get to see them or hear them. They don't get to hear Daniel's mother, but they're there, constantly trying to find answers to what happened to Daniel. Daniel's mother's at home with her husband. She has a lot of pain and suffering that she had to go through. She's not a person also that don't want to be in front of the camera a lot. She's a quiet person, like to keep things quiet. But she's still there, and I want everybody to know that. Daniel has a mother that loves him, and that's at home suffering. You have a siblings, one here with me today, that also think about their little brother. My job is to continue to put the pressure on the law enforcement, in this case, to find answers that we need. And as a father, I came here from Columbia, South Carolina to do so, to find answers and do whatever I have to do to find my son, and also seek all the help that I can get. If I can't get it from law enforcement, I had to do it myself, but that don't stop me from trying to get law enforcement to do the right thing. I also want to thank the media for coming out, because without the media, I would not be able to spread my son's what's happened to my son and the whole entire case here. It's been a hard, long road just to get the media's attention, but now that I have it, I'm grateful. Get my son's story out there, let people know what's happening, and that way, if Daniel's out there somewhere, somebody have seen anything, heard anything, somebody will say something. So I'm grateful for that. Well, my son Daniel, he started his life as an adult here in Arizona. He moved away from the cradle of his parents and his siblings in Columbia, South Carolina. He graduated from the College of Charleston to move out here here to Phoenix with his degree in geology. He started working at a company called Matrix New World. Some call it Matrix Southwest Groundwater. He worked that job diligently. He loved his job because it provided him to be able to expand his career in geology. In the terrain, he loved it out here. He get to collect the rocks that he loved the most. And Daniel, when he first came out here, I seen him grow. He started off with what we like to call a hoopty, a little car that he had to fix and repair every day. But he got that car and he was proud of it because it gave him a chance to get to work on time, be a responsible adult, and and he loved his job, like I said. So he was blessed that later on that he was able to buy his first vehicle, a brand new vehicle, his Jeep Renegade. He was very proud of that vehicle. Daniel, when he got the vehicle, of course, he wanted to show it to his parents. He sent me the picture of the vehicle, and we had plans to come out here to Arizona in July to see the vehicle. But Daniel, so give me a second. Okay, with Daniel and I and his siblings, we had plans to get together in July, and I would have seen this vehicle for the first time. And I would have seen this vehicle for the first time, but instead, you know, I ended up seeing this vehicle in July in the condition that it was after it was taken from the scene right behind us here. Anyway, excuse me.
Take your time.
The first time I saw that vehicle was through a picture that Detective Biffin showed me from the police station, and it was different from the picture that my son sent to me when he's showing it to me for the first time. My son's very proud of that vehicle. It's something that he accomplished in life as a tangible something, to show his adulthood, his responsibility for himself, taking care of himself, living alone, starting off in life as a young man with a great career, high dreams, and you know, the whole 9 yards. So it's very difficult to see that vehicle for the first time through a picture, but you know, Daniel, excuse me for a second. Daniel, on the morning of June the 23rd, was given an assignment to visit 2 well sites. After going to the first well site, he called his representative from the drilling company, Weber, who was waiting on him out here on Sun Valley Parkway. After meeting with the representative on Sun Valley Parkway, Daniel followed the representative back out here in this desert to the well site. Once he got to the well site, the two of them had a conversation about the weather, according to the representative. After a few minutes later, Daniel waved and drove off out there in the desert to never be seen again. On July 19, 2021, a rancher who is a 4th generation cattle rancher ran into my son's vehicle, the Jeep Renegade, right across this hill right here behind us here. According to the rancher, the Jeep Renegade was not there a couple of days prior to July 19th, 2021, because he had been through that area a couple of days before. Since he knows this land, because this is his land, he has been raised, and he's been raised in this land for a couple. He's been raised in this land and knows this land very well. Like I say, he's a 4th generation cattle rancher. He's an expert on this land. The rancher told me personally that not only was that Jeep not there 2 days prior to July the 19th, but if it had been, his cattle would have been all over it. They would have been licking the vehicle, trying to get salt off of it. They would have been trying to get the case of water that was left in my son's vehicle in the back of that Jeep. They would have been messing around with the clothing that was on the ground outside of the vehicle. There would have been droppings all around that area because the cow would have hanged around there for a long time, because they often come through that ravine. Despite of this account from this witness who found my son's vehicle and put the timeline of when the vehicle got there, is not reported in the police report. His statement is not in the police report. In fact, the rancher account matches the findings of my investigator, Jeff McGrath, analysis. My investigator believes that his vehicle was crashed somewhere else and before making its way behind me here. The rancher's account backs up the Jeep was not there at least 2 days prior to July 19, 2021. Unless that vehicle was driven around the desert for almost 30 days without a gas fill up before making its way into that ravine, I can't see personally how it crashed in that ravine on July the 19th or 2 days prior, or on July the 23rd when he went missing. That date do not match the data shown on the first crash, when the first crash happened 4 hours after my son went missing. We all know that there was a red transfer paint on my son's vehicle, on the driver's side. There was nothing red out here in the desert. If you guys look around right now, there's nothing red out here. The windshield had two impressions, as if something was trying to enter the vehicle from going inward.
I just had to double check. Yes, Daniel went missing on June 23rd, and it took a month for his car to be spotted in that ravine by that rancher. It was almost a month. It was a month later. If you haven't yet seen, I worked through the entire police report, so that's also on the playlist. So if you want to go check that out as well. Oh my word. I hope that you're okay. I probably, should have told you this is going to be very sad to watch. But I'm so proud of David Robinson for being honestly the best father in the world. He's out there. He moved cross country as soon as he heard his son was missing, and he's been looking for him, boots on the ground, organized this entire volunteer group by himself, had a website, pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, made the website, GoFundMe, a petition. Thank you to all the Grizzlies who have signed that petition. You've made a huge difference as well. Please share this episode, this video, David's video. Share it wherever you can. I'm going to put some tweets out again. Please keep sharing it. We need to keep on putting a spotlight on this case. Okay, so let me continue now.
Damage on that vehicle does not match what happened in that ravine. Also, after the police collected my son's belongings and put them into evidence bags marked for safekeeping, a sock belonging to my son was found near the well site where he went missing weeks later. Law enforcement built a case around around the disappearance of my son to include the opinions of co-workers that said he was acting odd. Co-workers who are not licensed into mental health, and they're not mental health experts, but not doctors. Yet their account made it into the report. There's a second person and the last person that saw my son on June 23rd, 2021. And I will let my investigator speak on that a lot more. It's okay. It's okay. He saw my son and his Jeep that morning, sometime that day. He's a federal employee. Law enforcement. My son held a conversation with him. He didn't seem to be, well, the federal worker in law enforcement told me personally that according to him, my son held a conversation with him. He didn't seem distressed. He was very polite. He helped him determine the best place to go out and target practice. Like you hear in the background now, they often do that out here. My son mentioned that he was at work in this area, and shooting in this area would not be good. According to this federal employee, law enforcement, Daniel didn't act odd or seem to have any sign of mental impairment. According to this federal worker, my son's Jeep was not damaged in any way. It appeared to be brand new. This federal employee stated that statement was not included in the record of law enforcement. According to this federal employee, law enforcement had never contacted him. His account potentially changes what we believe was the timeline to what happened on June the 23rd, 2021. This week I sent Chief Hall a letter to Chief Hall, Chief of Buckeye Police Department. This letter was sent to him from a father who has been out here every week for 16 weeks searching and trying to find answers to what happened to my son. I am that father. I formally requested that the Buckeye Police Department call in the FBI to aid and do an investigation to the suspicious circumstances surrounding my son's case. After a failed attempt to get the law enforcement to search for my son over 12 hours after I put in the missing person report, I packed my car and I headed to Arizona to search for Daniel myself. Since then, I started a weekly search that to date didn't find Daniel, but uncovered some truths about the area where my son went missing. We have found the remains of humans out here. That proves something. Crimes has happened out here. My son went missing out in the area where obvious crimes has happened. My son went missing in suspicious circumstances. Even Chief Hall agreed to that in the interview with CNN. Where's the investigation in these suspicious circumstances? Where's the investigation to why there are human remains being found out here in this area? Where did my son go to? What happened to him? What kind of suspicious activity and circumstances do law enforcement need before they investigate? I think that we have enough suspicious circumstances surrounding this case. In my letter to Chief Hall, I pointed out that everything that my investigator turned over to them, the people that we sent to them that wanted to give their account, and the facts and the facts and suspicions circumstances surrounding my son's disappearance, the same suspicions that he himself on CNN said he saw. I received a response from the letter from my letter to Chief Hall on yesterday at 1:09 p.m. After brief words in his response, the last paragraph informed me that he personally contacted the FBI requesting review of my son's case. He hopes that fresh eyes on my son's case will bring light. He hopes that fresh eyes on my son's case will bring to light more details. He has a case briefing being scheduled for next week. After almost 5 months into my son's disappearance, my family and I are finally heading towards getting justice for Daniel. It took hard work. It took sleepless nights. It took searching for months, and it took the love that I have for my son to get the needle moving. No family should have to go through hurdles to find answers No family should have to go through hurdles to find answers or get closure to the pain of not knowing what happened to their loved ones. Every case involving a missing person should be treated with the same urgency as the next. There is no sorrow less felt by any family over the other when their loved one is missing. It is all the same. Sorrow, pain, and grief has no color. It is felt by all who are going through life, never receiving the answers to what happened to the one that was a part of their life. Often, people of color have to go through hurdles, do not receive the urgency that it takes to find their loved ones. As a result, they often go unheard, even when putting their trust in the very ones that are out here to serve and protect them. I have a petition with more than 95,000 signatures of people seeking justice for my son Daniel and all the victims and families whose voice is muffled by apathy. They signed for the unheard and the unknown. People signed a petition to see change on how the law is enforcement approaches missing persons reports. They want to see every case of missing persons treated with urgency and care, the same vigor and sweat every time. They need overwhelming support by outside agencies working together to find their loved ones. I pray that no family has to endure to do what my family has to take just to be heard and to have our missing person taken seriously. But unfortunately, if a department lacks the resources and training, they need to provide extra attention to the missing person. They must ask for help from outside sources. I am not going to stop searching for my son until he's found. After what I and my family had to go through for these months, I can't sit back and hope that they are going to give the same energy to find my son as I did for months now. To continue my searches, I am starting a new phase of searching. I have a city search where I need volunteers who are willing to go out to the homeless population, shelters, mental health facilities, hospitals, etc., to pass out flyers. And I want to let everybody know that's sitting behind me. Since, like I told you earlier, since it's going to be Thanksgiving next week, I will be counseling searches next week. This will give my volunteers time, and they need to spend with their families. And I really appreciate them for doing this every week. I will continue my desert searches on Saturdays at 6:45 a.m., having my safety briefing. 7 o'clock to 11 for the searches, and then the city searches will begin on Saturdays also from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. All the information about that will be on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Now I want to turn this over to my investigator, Jeff McGrath.
Thank you, David. I'm Jeff McGrath. I'm the Chief Investigative Officer and owner of 3 Laws Recon Investigations. And when David contacted me about this case back in July, after the vehicle was recovered, I got involved in, from the picture that was shown to me that David had, the one and only picture that was provided to David by the Buckeye Police Department, there was obvious signs in that picture, obvious signs that a first week accident reconstructionist right out of training could spot. So I took on the case, and yes, I did uncover a lot of information in that vehicle that poses that there's a lot of suspicious circumstances surrounding this. The damage, the crash data recorder, the airbag control module, what we call the black box information that was provided, none of that matched the ravine the vehicle was found in. I've spent a lot of time and work looking at that vehicle, processing that vehicle. I've found the red paint transfer, other information in that vehicle, and I have turned all of my information over to the Buckeye Police detectives because I wanted them to step up their investigation. Unfortunately, when I went to go out and process the vehicle the first time when it was still in Buckeye's possession, they turned it over to us through Mr. Robinson and said, their exact words said, "We don't have an investigation, we're done. We don't have a crime and we don't have anything to investigate." So they've turned everything over to us. I currently have all of that, what should have been marked evidence and should still be in their evidence lockers for review. But as we go through all of it, we just keep finding more and more. And I sat down with the Buckeye Police Department and detectives, lieutenants and assistant chief, and explained to them my findings. And all they want to do is brush me off. They don't want my information. And we've been trying to put pressure on them from day one. And this is unacceptable. If this were my child, their child, anybody else's child, I believe especially if it was their child, I believe they'd step up their investigation. But for this, they look at this as a young black man that they believe just wanted to disappear and join a monastery. Absurd. It's absolutely absurd what they believe. But we have been putting pressure on them week after week after week. We finally got Chief Hall to admit to CNN on record that there are suspicious circumstances surrounding this. They say now that they're investigating this, that they do have an ongoing investigation, and they still haven't asked me to see the vehicle. It seems that their concern was to get an expert 3 months after the fact that does the same work I do, to come out, not to help, but to rebut my information. And that's frustrating to me. This is not a civil case where we have experts battling against each other on whose vehicle did what. This is a cut and dry case where there's a vehicle found in a ravine, the damage doesn't match the profile, and they want to go out and find experts at Jeep to say that the information they found is not an anomaly. It actually is very disturbing to me that they want to just keep pushing it back and defy anything that we come up with. When I found the sock 3 miles away from here that was Daniel's, the detective Sergeant Hanneman, said, "How do you know it's Daniel's? You can't prove that." Well, I know it's Daniel's, and if anybody saw the sock, and I'm willing to show anybody the sock compared to the socks they recovered and the socks that I took photographs in Daniel's bedroom, and you will say, yeah, that was Daniel's sock, absolutely. We don't find a lot of socks out here in the desert. It's not common. But yeah, we did find one 3 miles away. That to them was not any concern. We keep finding human remains while we're out here. 2 weeks ago, was it 3 weeks ago, we discovered human leg bones, full femurs, both of them, and a pelvis, and some spinal cord, some vertebrae. And so, of course, we finally get Buckeye to come out and tape off. This is the first time I've actually seen them use crime scene tape in this instance, where they came out and they taped it off and they collected it, and we were told almost immediately it was not Daniel's, but it's somebody's. It's somebody's. So the Buckeye Police Department released their report on their investigation, and they want to, and they did put a lot of information in there that supports their side, but they have left out information like the cattle rancher Brandon that found the vehicle. His information was completely just completely overlooked. It wasn't put in there. That's a major part to investigation. You have somebody who finds your main point of evidence, and they have information and they're familiar with the land. That would be key to my investigation, and it is key to my investigation. I've spoken with Brandon numerous times. He's a very straightforward man. He's a straight shooter. He's not gonna jerk us around. He just basically told us flat out, I know that vehicle was not there 2 days prior. I'm 100% certain. I go with this information. I also go with science and fact. And when I do all my fact checking and look for my information out here, I can't find something that gives me concrete evidence that vehicle was not there 2 days before, but I do got to go with some pretty strong words like that. And when you see the vehicle, when they recovered it, it was not in the condition of something that's been out there for a month. During the monsoon time out here, it would have been a lot more dirty. There's a lot of information. Another thing is if you're out here in the desert and you got 2 cases of water bottles with you that are untouched in the vehicle and the person's gone, that kind of leads to believe that somebody didn't just have an accident and try to wander off and find help, because they would have taken some water with them. I would assume. It's June out here in the desert. It's pretty hot. But there's a lot of information with this that just doesn't make sense. We're going to keep going. Hopefully, now with the chief calling the FBI in, that will do something, because there's something going on here, and we can't put our finger on it. We haven't answered every question. We've answered some. We still have the main question is, where's Daniel? And that's what we're going to find. We're not going to give up until we do. When I say we, I talk about my company and all my teammates and members, like Jim over here to my right. is also a well-seasoned investigator and a retired homicide investigator. Detective. He worked in my department with me. He's one of the best investigators I know. We're putting more eyes on this, more brains on this. We're doing everything we can. We're teaming up, and we're going to find something. We have through this part become family with Mr. Robinson and his family, immediate family, because I don't carry cases personal. I don't get passionate. I get passionate, but I don't get emotional over my cases. And I carry a lot of cases. I deal with a lot of death. I deal with a lot of families that are broken because of the work I do. But this one hurts me, and it hurts me because I'm a father. It hurts me because I see how broken this is. This has gotten David, and we're going to hang on his side. We're on his right and left side right now, and we're going to stay that way even when we're not with him. We're on his side. So we're going to keep going forward, and hopefully we get some answers. And when we can sit down with the FBI, we believe that's going to progress this case much quicker. We're going to accelerate from there. So let's hope they sit down with us, and we can just bypass Buckeye at this point, because there needs to be something done about this. And it's not just Buckeye. I have since this obtained 2 new cases, and they are both people of color, where the law enforcement agencies, and it's not Buckeye, it's other agencies, have just stopped and said, we're done. We don't have anything else. I can't imagine just stopping. I got a poor 18-year-old girl that's missing. Family's been looking for her since 2019, and the police department says we've done all we can do. It blows my mind. Something has to change with law enforcement, and I am retired law enforcement, and I've dealt with missing persons in law enforcement. So has Jim over here, and we know we put in the resources we can. But there has to be some type of change in law enforcement, and it's not just people of color too. It's anybody that goes missing. Gabby Petito got attention immediately and got the FBI on immediately. We didn't. We took us weeks and months to get any media coverage on this, and we've been out here doing this without media, and we're going to keep doing it if the media is here or not. But something has to change within law enforcement, and I'm speaking for all law enforcement, saying you got to do something. You need to get the resources. If you don't have the resources, it's okay to say I don't have the resources. Reach out above you. There's county, there's state, there's federal. You can always ask for help. You shouldn't dig your heels in and say I've got this, and nobody else is gonna figure this out but me. That's the problem we're dealing with. So let's hope we get some change in law enforcement, whatever it takes. If we got to write our senators in Congress and say we need to do something, because the phone calls I'm getting since this they're blowing me away. I didn't realize it was as bad as it is. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Jim Archer over here with Intuitive Research Group. He and I work together, and like I said, he is primarily homicide, but he does work with me, and very smart and great investigator.
Thanks. Thank you very much. My name is Jim Archer, spelled A-R-C-H-E-R. I own Intuitive Research Group, and although I own my own company and Jeff owns his own company, we are partners in our investigative teams and endeavors. So he and I are working this case together, and I'm grateful for David for including me in on this. So I've been aware of this case since August, but I've been really dedicated to it since late September. And I am a retired investigator, and I have worked homicides and missing persons cases. And this case is unique among other cases because of the circumstances that were eloquently described here today. And because of that, it should have been handled as an endangered missing person from the beginning, and even looked at as if it were a homicide to be properly investigated. And what I've seen so far was kind of concerning, to say the least, on how it was handled. Certainly, if I were investigating a case like this, it would have been, well, to say the least, interesting. And it would have been handled by our department a little bit differently. We would have moved forward with it as an endangered missing person, I guess you could say. And
we would have at least worked it until we had the right kind of closure. And that's what Jeff and I are working towards, and in the interest of David here, is to get the right kind of closure, to get the answers that he deserves, and move forward so that he can move on with his life and his family can be at peace. So that's what we're striving for. That's what Jeff and I are working for. And again, I'm grateful. Thank you.
Okay. Again, thank you all for coming out and supporting this press conference. I want to again lastly say thank you to the volunteers. I just love you guys. You just don't know. And all the ones that's out there right now that wasn't able to make it to the press conference that's out there currently doing foot searches. So I'm grateful for them too. So I want to tell you, my family, we really appreciate you. Love you from the bottom of my heart. And I really am grateful for each and every one of you. You're like family to me. And I just want y'all to know that. Thank God for you. All right.
Amen.
That concludes my press. Thank you. Thanks. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes. All right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Back on the road. So it worked.
Wow, I almost forgot to unmute myself. Thank goodness I just caught that there. But wow, I'm so pleased that the FBI is getting involved. Oh my word. I just want to quickly show you something. Wow. Grizzlies, thank you so much for all your help as well. This case has really touched my heart as well. I mean, whoa. I care so much about David Robinson and him finding his son. And all the help that you guys have shown is so amazing. Thank you for signing the petition. I want to show you this one thing, which is on the blog, I believe. Remember when Jerry Williams was on the show, a former FBI special agent? There's an article that she has here. Yes, so can you see this window nicely? Yes, I'm going to show you the Please Help Find Daniel one now. But you see on jerrywilliams.com, on her blog, she wrote this article and it was released on the same day that she was interviewed on my show. So the Grizzlies were the first people to ever know about this article and see the link. When does the FBI investigate missing adults? And so Jerry wrote here, I've received several inquiries from readers and listeners asking why the FBI is leading the Gabby Petito missing person, now murder case. As part of my mission to show you who the FBI is and what the FBI does, I want to address the general question. When does the FBI assist or open a missing person case? Before a discussion regarding the FBI's involvement in a missing adult case without a demand for ransom, the term missing person must be defined as it pertains to a criminal matter. Just because an adult has gone missing doesn't make it a crime that requires a response from law enforcement. People are allowed to just walk away from their former lives, family, and friends to start a new life without telling anyone their plans. It happens. I'll link this in the description box below, by the way. And then they say, get the free FBI reading resource. Okay, cool. So go there and get that. So it may be difficult to accept, but our loved ones over the age of 18 have the right to voluntarily disappear or run away. However, if there's evidence that indicates their disappearance may have been the result of foul play, a missing persons case will be initiated. Must be, Buckeye, by law enforcement. The FBI will officially open and lead a missing person investigation when foul play is suspected and the victim's last known whereabout was on federal property, such as a federal park, an Indian reservation, or the victim was on board a commercial ship in international waters. The missing person is a U.S. president or other elected or appointed federal officials, such as cabinet members, members of Congress, or is a federal judge, a federal prosecutor, or federal law enforcement official, such as an FBI, DEA, IRS, or Secret Service agent, and their missing person status is believed to be related to their official employment. when authorized by officially opening a case, investigating agents are able to use the full resources of the FBI, including having a federal prosecutor assigned, employing the subpoena powers of a federal grand jury, distributing FBI wanted and missing persons flyers, and offering substantial reward monies. You may also want to read my blog post, When Does the FBI Investigate Murder? The FBI initially entered the Gabby Petito missing person case at the request of the local Florida Police Department investigating her disappearance. See, Buckeye? That's what you got to do. She was last seen while visiting the Grand Teton National Park and Bridger Teton National Forest. Okay, so we know about this case. I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to focus on Daniel Robinson. Oh my goodness. But the point is, if you read all of this, you can see that, of course, Buckeye would have to have activated this. So I'm going to link this article below so that you can have a look at it just to make sure that we understand everything here. But Daniel's case would fit this. It just would have to be activated by Buckeye. This is pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. I've got the text scrolling on top there. And this is the website. So if we go here and you click on sign the petition, let's see where we're at, Grizzlies. 95,665 people have signed. Let's get it to 150,000. So let's see if we could get that number up a little bit. For anyone who hasn't signed yet, please fill in your first name, last name, and email address here. And then remember to go to your email address and click the link to finalize your signature. I know that some people didn't do that last step and then your signature isn't counted here. So you got to fill this in and click the link in your email. Okay? Always accept the cookies, remember. And then over here, if you go volunteer to search, you could actually volunteer to help out. I myself was looking at flights, to Arizona just to see if it would be feasible. It isn't quite for me yet because the problem is that it's now going into December holiday time. So it's like super expensive and, I got to sort out visas and all kinds of stuff. So for now, I'm going to support as much as I can from here. But I would love it if you guys are there in the States and close enough to Arizona. If you could go there, that would be amazing to help out. So this one already happened November 4th. And donate, if you click the donate button, there was $163,044 raised of a $40,000 goal, which is a humble goal for the amount of search power they need. They need drones, thermal imagery, resources, helicopters. Definitely need helicopters. I think drones would help a lot too. But you know what I mean by resources, all of that, vehicles, gas, food, all this kind of stuff. So if you could go and donate here, that would be amazing too. So Daniel's story is here as well. He was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, 2021, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona. Okay, so there's updates here. Okay. There's a lot of updates going on here. So this is great. So if you want to go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, this is where everything that you want to know is. Let's look at the sector map. I've never looked at that. Map time. Sector map time. Oh my word. This is so awesome of a map time. Daniel search area. Look how organized this is. What? They're grid searching. Wow. Let's see if I can zoom out. So you can see where the car was found. Map time, guys. Wow. Okay, what I want to see is... Where's Sun Valley? Remember, I was guessing a little bit where it was. I know about this Sun Valley Parkway Road. Where's Cactus Road? Yeah, there's Cactus Road. Hey, I wasn't that far off on my map time. This one is Cactus Road. And the car is there. Oh, and here's the site. Oh, it's a site. Sorry, I don't know if it's the site. But here, there's the site here. Here's the ravine. Oh, my word. So these are all the areas that they've searched. Wow. Should have played my map time thing. Let's play it. Gotta play the map time thing, You can get your map time merch too. This is a great map time of the grid search they've done. My goodness. Wow. I'm just amazed at how organized it's all been. I mean, David Robinson has got he's an Army veteran, so he knows how to grid search. He's got that background and knowledge. Wow. Oh my word. Sure. Okay. All right. So if you want to go here and help out, that would be amazing. There's questions and comments. You can also, let's see, if you click on contact here, I've shared David's number before, but if you click on, here we go, here's the number 803-200-7994. This is David Robinson's number, and he really appreciates it if you send him some encouraging messages. That would be amazing if you could do that. Just send him your love, your prayers, your encouragement, whatever you can, your support. That would be amazing. Okay, so that is what we have. My goodness. Whew. I'm just so glad to hear that the FBI has actually gotten involved. Isn't that amazing? Oh, I'm like, where's my little turkey grizzly? It's in the corner there. That is such amazing news that the FBI is getting involved. Like, finally, June 23rd to now. I mean, how many days has that been? Days since... $156 days. That's how long it's been. Wow. Goodness. So thankfully the FBI is now getting involved. My goodness. I really hope they can help. I really hope they find Daniel. And what a bizarre case. If you don't know that much about the case yet, please go and look at my playlist. Under the Unsolved or Missing Persons playlist, there's a lot of episodes I've done, including interviewing David Robinson 2 or 3 times, I believe. He'll be back on the show as well. He often comes on the show to give us updates and things, which is so amazing. We wish him so much love, so much support. I hope that he's got a nice meal for Thanksgiving. At some point, he was living out of a hotel for months. He's only just moved into like a little apartment, and he just said like he really misses his bed at home and he misses like warm meals and things like that. So I think now he's able to cook a little better in his setup now, but I really hope he has a nice Thanksgiving meal, Okay, so that's it from me for now. I really hope that you will show any form of support, whether it's sharing, like this video, comment below, go to David Robinson's channel and my highlights channel, because I'm sharing the Daniel Robinson stuff there too. So spread that around, share that. The highlights channel is also a great one to share smaller chunks, like you could share those small videos on Facebook or Twitter or wherever. And if you could go to the original video, give that a thumbs up, comment over there, show support, email, text, donate, sign the petition, whatever you can. It would be amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.